Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to welcome all of you on this beautiful April morning. Our first order of business today is trails and the approval of Iowa Great Lakes Sanitary District easement agreement and temporary construction easement.
Morning.
Morning.
So I emailed out the documents for everybody to look through. We've gone back and forth with the district's attorney and district and our attorney and our engineer and everything has all looked at it, reviewed it. We've with all these easements, we've been dealing with trying to stay consistent with the language, similar to what we did with ITC and what we're doing with Iowa Lakes Regional Water, so that we maintain our rights to do trail business, but also, you know, provide space for utilities like we do in our highways. So we feel like we're in a good place with all of this, and the Trails Board recommended approval of the easements. They're meeting on Friday. Any questions regarding temporary or permanent easement with Iowa Great Lakes Sanitary District?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, very rarely is that, yes, I will make a motion. Thank you.
I'll second.
Looking at me.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve, I assume, the easement agreement and the temporary construction.
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. Levi?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
And Bill is aye.
And then for Iowa Lakes Regional Water, this is over kind of by the Superior Drive-In Theater. They are sending a larger water line over to Orleans to supply water to the city there. And between our property and the highway right of way, it's really tight, so they don't have enough room with other utilities to put their water line within the highway right of way. So they're looking for a small easement there within their railroad property, and it shouldn't affect us at all. So we are maintaining our rights there as far as trail use as well.
I would make a motion to approve Iowa Lakes Regional Water easement.
Okay, Mr. Clark is moved.
I'll second.
Kim is seconded. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
And Bill is aye.
So I will leave these with Gordon, because you'll have to sign with Lori on these, and then they need to be notarized.
Well, you know, I get $15 from all.
I know, I'm gonna owe you big time here soon. A lot of little yellow tabs on here.
Thanks, Aaron.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Steve, for all your help.
Okay, next is item 3, approval of the April 8th board meeting minutes. Did anyone see anything amiss?
Motion to approve.
Kim approved. Mr. Dullard is second. Further discussion? As there is none, Kim?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
And Bill is aye. Item number 4 is approval of drainage claims. We don't have them today. So we'll go on to discussion item number 5, lower garden of FEMA process. Jeff?
Morning, everyone. Unfortunately, we have not heard back from FEMA, but I do have an email into them asking for an update. Once I get that, I can present it to you guys.
Okay.
Our agenda items. The first one we have is approved request for repairs on DD 26. Benchmark Construction was on site to open up the snake hole to discover the problem. Benchmark Construction was hired to replace broken pipe. Repair will hook onto good solid pipe using 10-inch dual wall perforated pipe. The cost is gonna vary. If it's dry conditions, it'd be $15 a foot. If it's wet, it's gonna be $20 a foot. It could be anywhere from 100 to 500 feet long. Until we get to good pipe, we just don't know where we're gonna start and stop.
Low cost would be 1,500 and the high would be 10,000.
Correct.
That's correct.
Motion approved.
Kim has moved.
Second.
Levi seconds. Further discussion. Hearing none. Kim?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
And Bill, it's aye.
And the second item we have here is from drainage district number 19. Get some pictures for you to share. What we're looking at here is the bulkhead at the beginning of the open ditch. That's the top picture. As you can see, it has pulled away from the horizontal portion of it. And about 40, 50 feet upstream is the second picture that shows the blown out tile is exposed. What I would like to do is get direction from you guys to move forward and to get some proposals to get this repair done.
And this is different, but from the repair and improvement projects that are currently being worked on.
Yes, I looked those up for both ISG and for the FEMA work, and those are all downstream from this.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Kim.
Second.
Thank you, Levi. It's been moved and seconded to allow the engineer to look at the cost of repairs on this. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. Kim?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
And Bill, it's aye.
Next, what I have here is some, I want to discuss some repairs in drainage district number 1. Just about 2 miles west of Terrell. 4 pictures for you. Keith Van Cleek is one that contacted me. He works on this, I think, in cattle, this property. It's kind of a remote area, so that's why I wanted to have a discussion with you guys to see how to move forward with this. The first picture shows the slope damage that we saw. This is kind of looking south. The next page is kind of going back around the bend to the right, and a lot of material is deposited, as you can see. Some in the middle there and some up on the far right. And then the third picture will kind of show you where the 2 spots are at. The yellow is the slope damage, and the kind of pinkish color is where the rock is deposited. The only way we were able to get out there was Keith had a side-by-side there. And it was pretty sketchy getting out there, on that. So to me, it'd be hard to haul anything in there to make any type of repair. One idea I did come up with is use material that's on site, over on the right-hand side, and then just flatten that slope more. I wanted to get your guys' input to see how to move forward.
I've been out and looked at that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough to get to. I don't think you could ever get, well, I shouldn't say that. It'd have to be dry for a long time before you could get trucks out there.
Yep.
And
So it's
Using
either
the
we can just come
existing-
up with something to do something, or we just leave it. I mean,
Well,
it's-
there, where it deposited a lot of the material that it moved out, that really needs to be cleaned out of there.
yeah, and Keith sounds like he's got some equipment. He could probably pick up some of those rock himself.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't
That's what
talked,
you guys want to do.
I haven't talked to Keith about it, but using the existing material to try to get that slope smoothed out, maybe reseeded if we have a favorable year, might be a pretty decent idea.
Yep.
So,
And the picture doesn't really show it, but from where it's sloughed off, the ground is higher and it kind of falls off to the back. There's kind of a draw behind there. So I figured you could start the draw and just kind of slope it all down to the toe.
yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
But you want us to wait for drier weather then, or?
Well, we don't want to tear things up or have equipment stuck out there, so
Sure.
I think it needs to be done when it is drier and when we can do it correctly.
Okay, I think both, one thing we can probably get out there is probably a dozer.
Yeah, probably so.
So we get track condition, you might get something rubber tired back in there.
You know, yeah, you might be able to get a track hoe out there.
Yep.
So, okay,
Okay. In the meantime, waiting for you, want me to try to solicit some bids to get somebody out there to do that work?
I think that's prudent to get get some bids on their estimates anyway.
How long do you think it would take to dry up? I mean, is it really marshy like, or?
It's not real marsh. I mean, there's some more crossings you have to go across to get there, and there's water standing in those crossings yet, so. I mean, any type of large tired, rubber tired machine would probably get stuck out there.
Yeah,
So if we have a dry summer, will that do it, or is,
I think it might.
yeah, I think so.
okay? Well, it's hard to let out bids when you can't
Well,
give a timeline.
Right, but you know, I think maybe we should get some contractors to give us kind of a rough estimate or
Yeah,
something of
just
what it might
ballpark
cost
number.
us.
Okay. Is that a motion, Mr. Clark?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to have the engineer solicit some estimates on repair on DD one.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Did you say 91?
No, DD one.
Okay, Mr. Dellers is second. Further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Mr. Dellers,
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
And Bill, aye.
Thank you. Number 4 we have here is a per request repairs on DD 18 for a tile blowout in direct county forces to complete the repair. Deadly would be under $1,500.
Motion to approve.
Let's move.
Second.
Mr. Clark is seconded. Further discussion? As there is none. Kim?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
And Bill is aye.
And item number 5 this morning is approved request for repairs on DD 5 for tile damage causing water to pond in direct county forces to complete the repair, which again would be less than $1,500.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Clark moves.
I'll second.
Mr. Dullard seconds. Further discussion? As there is none, Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Mr. Dullard?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
And Bill is aye.
That completes my agenda this morning. Thank you, everyone. I just want to give you guys a quick update. We did solicit bids for painting the edge lines for the roads this year. Vogel will be doing the work sometime this June or July. The cost is $102,000, and we have budget money in there for this fiscal year and next fiscal year to cover that.
Okay.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Don't see Colin on here yet, so if you guys want to go into your board and committee reports, and I just sent him a message.
Okay. Right. Kim, what did we do this past week?
At a Hunger Coalition meeting, I guess the biggest thing to report is every one of the food pantries is busy. Numbers are up. And we received word that both federal and state funding is going to be down. And so our coalition is taking a look at ways that we can supplement protein, meat of some sort, or protein, and other things that can help supplement those meals, because we have a lot of folks in Dickinson County that have food insecurities. So that's the biggest report that I do have.
How are the pantries for supplies and what are they short?
Food
on?
Bank of Iowa provides the fooding for it. And this was the first time we're starting to run out of food that they are providing. So we are upping the number in a couple of those locations. We hope will help. We're seeing folks from other counties that are starting to come a little bit as well. So we're trying to find out what's going on with that. But there are some challenges, and we certainly need to take a look at what we can do to help remedy that. Other than that, I've been doing some work on medical examiner within the county. We probably have to reappoint again here soon with what's going on.
Unknown caller.
You
I know, yeah.
need to take over, please.
Along with that, basically just other things that are going on in the county, but main thing was the hunger coalition.
Kim, is there a timeline on that medical examiner? Is that?
As soon as possible. It's not an easy solution for what we do. It's finding a person that wants the position, is willing to take that over. I'm working on it. We're getting closer to make sure that the right people want to be in there and want to do it.
Dullard?
Yes, sir. I attended the Hunger Coalition meeting with Kim. And then that evening, a 90-minute webinar on pipeline issues. The pipeline coming up. I was out of town for the rest of the week, doing the things that everybody just loves to do, taxes. And then yesterday I had some calls from some constituents. One of them was complaining about taxes going up $1 million for her properties, and she's 73 and retired. And her house here is up 300,000, but then her properties that business that she owns is in Spencer. So I told her who to contact with in Spencer. And then also had a call from a constituent that I'll have to get with Jeff here and need to go out and see about some drainage tile needs fixed over by M56.
Okay. Anybody?
I also sat in on that pipeline webinar. What I took from that was the concern with the eminent domain. That was kind of the big takeaway with people sharing their opinions and their frustrations with that. I had a trail board meeting last Friday morning, and Aaron had provided the updates that we had just talked about. And also the rail cars, sounds like that project is moving forward, and there's some interest that the cars are going to be, for lack of a better term, refurbished and used, and there's people that are interested, and so I thought that was good news. I sat in on the city council meeting last night, and the big discussion there again was dropping Milford's 4-lane to 3-lane, and that was voted down last night. And what I took from was the city council was just considering the results of the surveys they took, and most of the citizens and the feedback they had gotten was, we want to keep it the same. And so they voted 3-2 to leave it as is.
Last week on Wednesday, I had the Conservation Board meeting. They discussed the upcoming projects that are going on. The Sherwood Forest project is proceeding as well as possible. They've only had a couple days of too much rain to have to stay out of there. They're they have set up a grand opening on June 12th at 10 o'clock in the morning. They're going to have a grand opening on Sherwood Park. They're pretty sure it's all going to be done, stuff like that. It will be a great addition to that part of the county. You know, hopefully a lot of people will find good uses for it. They approved their ag lease land on the new property that was donated to them. They have to lease those out for a couple of years to honor the contracts that were there. They're talking about putting a new playscape in at the Nature Center and have solicited bids for a natural playscape. You wouldn't believe how much they get for designing a natural playscape. The bill for just designing is over $100,000. You know, but it looks really cool on film and the presentation and stuff. We'll see if they move. They aren't going to move ahead with that unless they get enough public donations to fund the whole project. We had a little bit of an update on the Spring Run shooting range area out there. When that was announced, there was quite a bit of concerned that the county was funding that, but that is all being funded by the state. That's all DNR, state money that is gonna fund the update to that, so it's not gonna, that won't have any direct effect on your taxes or anything. Well, I'll cover that when I get down to it. And that spring run deal, update is supposed to start here in June, that they're supposed to start working on that. Here again, depending on the contractors, so. After that, I, did the next morning, I did the Dixon County Taxpayers Association. Had some good conversations there with, some people, and, it was informative. I applaud their goals. They're working hard, and I think that they're understanding a little bit more what we as the county have to work with, especially when it comes to things like the new proposed property tax legislation that came out on Wednesday. So I haven't read I've read it once, but I haven't really absorbed all the changes they want to make from the one they came out with a month ago. It's a really an unending quest to try to get that, absorbed and decide or try to understand what they're trying to do. Last night I had the Conservation Foundation, and they're still going ahead with trying to raise funds for, well, they're the outfit that's raising the funds for the playscape. They have some things planned for that. They also gave an update on I suppose many of you noticed, the Funky Zebra is now almost totally demolished. When they tore that apart, I stopped yesterday and watched them a little bit. I'm amazed that anybody would pay rent on that building. I never saw 1 ounce of insulation in the whole thing. Not in the ceiling, in the walls, and there was no insulation in there. It was just a hollow core building stuck up there I don't know the whole story on it. I've heard there's quite a story, but I have no idea what it was. So, but their plans are moving ahead. Upcoming this week, I have the Yes Board down at Cherokee meeting on Friday, and next Monday is planning and zoning here in the courthouse. So, is that Colin yet?
Gonna say maybe see if there's any conversations out there to be had. Otherwise, wait for Bill to get back and
Okay.
Colin to come on.
Does anyone have anything that they would like to bring up that is on the agenda for this week?
I'd just like, Kim, can you clarify the coroner? The coroner you talked about, the medical examiner. I'm
Medical
sorry,
exam.
wrong word, medical examiner.
The county appoints a medical examiner who goes out in case there's any death.
Mhm.
And right now, we haven't appointed anybody for a while, and we did it back in 2018.
Mhm.
We're supposed to do it every 2 years. Unless things are going well, you just kind of let them go well. And so we're at a point now where we're re-investigating to see if this is actually working. We have Chad Niemeyer, who is from Lake Park, is a medical examiner investigator.
Oh.
And right now, Dr. Olson is our medical examiner.
Mhm.
And we're investigating to see if that situation's working with the police, the funeral homes, and all the other different
Oh.
things that are going on.
Okay, so there's no real change happening within what we have right now. You're just,
We're not sure yet.
Okay.
We're taking a look, Barb, to see if it's working as it is right now.
okay, great. Nice to hear. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
We're in a holding pattern.
We're in a holding pattern until either Mr. Leopold returns or until Colin, the engineer from Jacobson Westegard, calls in. I'm sure he didn't quite plan on us being through this fast.
Jim, I have a question on food security.
Yes.
If people wanted to make private donations, what would they want and where would they?
I would contact either Angela Kofoot who is one of the directors there, or Hunger Coalition. We have meetings on the second Tuesday of each month at the hospital, in the hospital basement. And that's a great place. We have different groups that do donate funds, and boy, the more we can get, Kurt, the better, because there is a need here. Surprisingly, even in Dickinson County, where our properties are going nuts in valuations, we've got a lot of folks that are hurting. And to hear that funding is coming down on the federal and state level, we're gonna have to come up with something to help those folks. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Great, thanks.
There it is. Good news, yeah.
Have you been found?
I'd like to make a visitor comment while we're waiting, if that's all right.
Is it on the agenda?
Is it something that's on?
No, I've been a member of working for the city of Wapaton 7.5 years, and every city council, a visitor of the community can make a comment. I'm a member of citizen of the county. Every meeting, you're allowed to have a visitor make a comment, whether it's on the agenda or not.
Well, each government entity runs their own rules. Is this regarding the trail?
Yep.
It's my understanding that's come before the Trails Board 3 times, what you're just already discussed, correct?
But
Has it?
I'm bringing it to your attention.
Okay, well, we go at the recommendation of Aaron Reed and the Trails Board. It's my understanding you talked to them already, correct?
Yep, but I'm bringing
So-
it to your attention.
Okay, they're aware of it and it's not on today's agenda. So thank you.
No, but I'll take you up to, the court up with that if that's necessary, but I'm allowed to, as a citizen, bring it to the Board of Supervisors' attention.
Okay, and you talked to Lori in the auditor's office about this last week, correct? Or earlier this week, perhaps? Okay, and what did she tell you?
It's got to be on the agenda. I asked to be on the agenda. She said no. So if you won't be on the agenda next month, or I'm a citizen of the county, I can make a comment for 3 to 5 minutes, just like any city council. Otherwise, how can any citizen make a comment?
I'll leave it to the chair's returned. I'll let him address that, but I've told you what our rules are.
And I disagree. Okay, first
Okay.
of all,
We agree to disagree, that's fine.
General, yeah.
we're on general comments. Okay, and I believe you have a comment about the bike trails. I do. That you have a different plan than what your board put forward. Right.
He's not on our board. He's not on the Trails Board.
No, you're not on the board.
No.
No. I'm a volunteer for trash cleanup for the trail, and the state of Iowa Department of Transportation adopt highway for 24 years and the trail for 19. Okay. So community service for all those years. I tell you what, don't let you make your comment, but from what I've heard, what you're planning is way more costly than what's planned by the Trails Board. Yep, that's true. Now, I know we've been accused of spending too much money. So you might understand why we would be averse to anything that's going to cost 3 times more and accomplish the same thing, as I understand it. I'm a private citizen and I'm raising funds for the trail.
If you would go to the podium to talk.
Sure. I'll give my little speech and. The Milford West Okoboji Trail, featured in the 4/8/25 issue of the Lakes News Shopper, is planned to be installed and finished by July 2025 for RAGBRAI. The trail will continue where it left off in 2006 at the First Lutheran Church, heading east past the Okoboji Classic Cars to the north side of Oak Hill Outdoor, then turning north to the cul-de-sac in West Okoboji. The trail also goes south from Oak Hill Outdoor to connect to the sidewalk at the Highway 71 and 86 intersection at the Perkins Corner. The Milford West Okoboji Trail has been proposed to the Dickinson County Trail Board for 2 years. The board has agreed to a bike trail from West Obeer to Jepson Road by Heritage Landing following the tree fence line. The residents of West Okoboji on Okoboji Boulevard on Terrace Beach do not want the bike traffic along West Lake Okoboji. The Milford West Okoboji Trail Project will help 80% of the Milford population on the west side of 71 have access to the trails around West Lake Okoboji and Arnold's Park Amusement Park. Dickinson County does not need 2 east-west trails. If the Dickinson County Trails Board and the city of West Okoboji were to obtain the West Okoboji Trail and award the same allotted money to the Milford West Okoboji Trail, the Milford West Okoboji Trail will award the same amount of money to extend the bike trail connecting Milford to the Clay County line along Highway 71. Both trails are using Beck Engineering and Beck Excavating in their plans for the trails. I have adopted 2.5-mile section of Highway 86 from the Iowa Department of Transportation from Emerson Bay to Perkins Corner for 24 years in the Adopted Highway program. I have adopted a section of the bike trail from Emerson Beach to First Lutheran Church along Highway 86 for 19 years since it was installed in 2006. I will adopt the Milford West Okoboji Trail for trash cleanup if the trail is approved by the Dickinson County Trail Board. If the trail is not approved, all the highway and current trail continued trash cleanup will be in jeopardy. Now, to give you an idea of how much this is one bag. I clean up 25 bags of this per year, 24 years, do the math. Also in 2019, I contacted the state. There's 23 concrete culverts that were in the north edge of the 86 in the ditch from Okoboji Classic Cars to Oak Hill Outdoor. Contacted the state, they balked, they've been there 60 years. Within 1 month, I had them moved out. I just kept climbing the ladder. I contacted the governor and the attorney general for Iowa. They had a bunch of boat boys stand on bid on state property. Same thing, I contacted up to the governor and the attorney general. Within 1 month, they're moved. If you notice, the sanitary district has got all kinds of green pipes laying there on the north and south of 86. They're very happy that I had all those concrete culverts moved back in 19, along with all of Dan Baum's boat boys. So I wanted to let you know what I'm up to. And this is then the Lakeview Shopper this morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Dennis Clark. That's my community service for the state for 24 years. Okay, thank you for your service.
Colin
is on.
Okay, the DD 92.
Yep.
Ravine. Hey, Colin, I believe you're on. I don't see you.
His phone number, he's just doing it via phone. So he'll just be talking. Colin, can you?
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, morning everybody. Sorry I'm not there in person. I was in Palo Alto County talking to that board about several drainage projects. So yeah, I wanted to talk this morning about DD 92. So that's that new drainage district. We put it, Bodles put in a tile there late last summer and fall. And kind of the big thing, if you remember, that kind of reroutes the water and dumps it into this ravine that leads down to the Little Sioux River. And that ravine kind of all along had been a concern because there's like 75 feet roughly of elevation drop over a pretty short, less than 500 feet to get to the river. So it's really steep stuff. And when we put a 24-inch tile in, and so if that tile is full and gushing water down that ravine, it was going to cause a lot of damage. So as part of the project, we did put in, about 100 ton of riprap in that ravine. And then also where it connects to the river, we had to put in a CMP culvert. And one issue with that is it's that where it jumps into the river, it's kind of on the outside bend of the river where it's water sort of runs around there. It's kind of eating its way toward the culvert. And even just over the winter and spring, it caused some damage where that outlet is. And I don't know, did you get a chance to look at those pictures?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm bringing them up right now
You
too.
kind of know, okay, yeah, the outlet's undercut a little bit. And so, if we want to keep, basically we just did this project and some more work really is needed to try to get that locked down so that this is going to last and not continue to be a problem where we have to come in there again and again. And when we did the project, I was trying to find a balance of, okay, trying to do quite a bit, but not necessarily just overkill it and waste a bunch of dollars. At this point, I think I wish we would have done a little bit more. But anyways, I met on site with Eric Kinnitz. He's the landowner that he owns the land where we outlet the tile and it goes to the river. And Jeremy Bodel, the contractor, last Friday, we looked at it and, a lot of it actually is fairly okay, but there's some places where water tried to go around some of the riprap that was in the ravine. And like I said about that culvert that goes into the river, basically, I think we need some more riprap down there. And then also to try to protect that outlet better, I'd like to get some larger stones, like larger gradation of riprap, and kind of put those actually out in the river a little bit on the upstream side to try to, something called a stream barb. And essentially what you do is you make this little wall to try to direct some of the current back towards the middle of the river and away from that outer bank, to try to help protect that culvert better. So I got a quote from Jeremy, and basically what we're looking at is approximately 2 loads of Class E riprap and 1 load of Class B, which is the bigger stuff. And then the seeding, it was a late last summer thing, and then it was really dry, and the seeding that was done didn't take it all. So some of that I think should be reseeded. And there was no, as part of the contract, you could say, well, is it a warranty claim? And the seeding, there's no requirement for establishment. So basically the contractor didn't have a responsibility to make sure that the grass grew or like to go down there and water it or anything like that. So we've got a quote from Bodles, and, really would like to try to do that this week. I talked to Gus Noble, who owns the property, the farm that the tile was put in on, and he's talking about planting this week. So we're hoping, if we do this work to try to get it done ASAP before he starts planting, so we can get the rock hauled back there, and not cause problems with the crop. So the total quote for that work is $6,019.60.
Colin, this is Kim.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, my question, is this going to be enough to get things done correctly so we're not readdressing this again? Because let's do this thing right and get it done, because this was a big undertaking to begin with. You feel that this will correct any of the problems that we're having into the future as well?
I believe so, yes.
Then I'll make a motion that we do this work on DD 92
As soon as possible.
as soon as possible.
That's B&B farm drainage when he talks about the bodals.
I'll second it.
Okay, Kim has moved, Mr. Clark has seconded, further discussion.
How long ago was it repaired?
Well, it was just built. It's this last year.
It was new.
New.
It's all new.
last year.
All new.
But it was so dry after we had the floods, if anybody that tried to seed lawn and stuff, if they didn't have a sprinkler out there, the lawns didn't come. Same way with along some of the dredge ditch banks and stuff, the seedings never came back because it was so dry. They never had moisture to get started. So,
And from the pictures, you can see we need more riprap rather than just seed. I
Yeah.
mean, the pressure of that water coming
Yeah.
down off that ravine
yeah,
is big.
a lot of hydraulic pressure there.
Yeah.
So.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, Kim?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Levi?
Aye.
Mr. D?
Aye.
Bill is aye.
Thanks,
All
Colin.
right. Thank you.
Colin.
Yep.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Okay, where were we on general discussion?
You
Up
had-
to you. It's up to
you're
me.
Yep.
Well, I've been a little busy this past week, but not with board stuff. I did have a Spirit Lake Protective Association meeting. New deal, we're meeting on Wednesdays at 11:30, so hopefully some younger members can join us. Other than that, we discussed finances and docks and porta potties. And I don't know, did anyone in here read the article about land values, property values? West Okoboji came out #1, Big Spirit Lake #2. And Joe Ullman thought that was because of our water quality work that we're doing. So other than that, is there anything from the audience? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Patrick Kelly, Okoboji. I have two comments. First of all, it's a personal one. An old friend of mine and an older brother of Mr. Leopold was severely injured. And Frank was strong, smart, one of the brightest people in our class of 64 in Spirit Lake. And he's fighting for his life. And I just want to thank the Leopold family for all that they've done for the community, and particularly Frank. He had a real flair for theater and drama, and he's certainly one of the major leaders of our class in 64. And he was a strong human rights advocate. You would never meet a smarter or more empathetic person than Frank. So Mr. Leopold wanted to comment, and I hope Frank pulls through. So, but I did want to recognize your family. I never met your parents, but I knew your brother pretty well. So anyway, good luck to you, and hopefully he'll pull through.
Well, hopefully, but thank you for your comments. And if we need someone to speak at his funeral, we just might look you up.
Well, that'd be a privilege and an honor. The other thing is I heard, and this is a rumor, and I don't know where it's going, but I heard that that one of the committees that takes a look at things, like particularly at the windmills, is not going to have any transparency in terms of their meetings. And I hope that is not true. And I know those meetings are coming up, and I can state unequivocally that if there isn't adequate transparency, we're going to end up heating up the politics in this county unnecessarily. So I just want to put that out there, and you folks are in the leadership, you'll look at it and see what you got to do. All right, but thank you everybody for coming. This is important. And again, best wishes to your family and to your very blessed brother. Thank you.
By transparency factor, you're relating to not videotaping. it,
Yes.
Correct?
Yes,
Keeping it online.
correct.
Thank you.
Or anything else? If not, I take a motion to adjourn.
So
We
moved,
can stay here all week.
so moved.
So Mr. Clark moves.
I'll second.
Mr. Dullard seconds. Further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Mr. Dullard,
Aye.
Kim.
Aye.
Levi. And Bill is aye. We're officially adjourned at